So we'll start. Thanks for joining. We'll cover the learning loops in agents today. My name is Prathamesh. I work at Last9 and I'll cover this session and our learnings at Last9 in building agents, especially the org mode agents. If you have any questions, feel free to post any comments on the LinkedIn chat, and our team is there to sort of answer the questions and ensure that all your queries are addressed. So today what we will cover is what it actually takes for an org mode multiplayer agent to be used in a team and how it can get better and not just bigger, right? So that's what we will cover. First thing that I want to cover is what typically the agents do. So those are personal agents. You use them with Claude, you use them with any other agent harness. Every time they wake up, they lose the context. They're essentially single player mode, very similar to how a person on your team holds the tribal knowledge. These agents also hold the a lot of the tribal knowledge that exists, right? And that also means that while one person can become very productive within a team, that trust or that knowledge doesn't actually compound to all the team members, right? So that's where the gap is. And that is where we see the difference between a single player agent versus a multiplayer agent. The single player agent makes one person faster, productive. Context, of course, lives in that person's head, or if you want to say like that agent's head or memory. But within an organization, we need the agent or the harness to work across the team to maintain the context across multiple tools that the org is using. For example, let's say you're using Slack, Linear, GitHub, and all of these tools have certain knowledge about the organization, the decisions, the team composition, the features that you're working on, and all of that, right? So the multiplayer agent is where this knowledge can be maintained. Everyone sort of shares the same context across all of these tools. And what this also helps is a correction or an improvement from an individual teammate can also help everyone within the org, right? Because the overall org knowledge and the context is being improved rather than a single agent helping only one person or a couple of people within the team. So that's sort of the difference between a single player agent and multiplayer agent. What we will cover today is multiplayer agent and our approach for building it and some of our real examples of how it has helped our team as well as our customers as well. So that's the agenda today. What we are going to talk about is about Mithai. This is our agent framework for building org mode ops agents. These can be SRE agents, FinOps agents, can be any way that you want to sort of tackle the org knowledge problem. This is already available as open source framework on GitHub. So this is the link where you can find it. And we'll also cover some of the examples of how learning happens, how especially the loop engineering happens in a Mithai agent where the org context can be built. So we'll start with the first problem, defining where the learnings can happen within org mode agent. So there are four loops. One is, of course, the reflection, what exactly happened. And that's where the agent understands, okay, there is a conversation that is happening. What exactly is the result of that conversation? That's the reflection. The second is approval, what the agent is allowed to do, which commands it can run, whether something is auto approved, whether something is approved after a person's decision, who owns what, and so on. The third is heartbeat. This is where the proactive nature of the agent comes into the play. Wherever typically a lot of the chat based systems, you have to ask a question and then it will answer. But proactive agents can do things on their own based on the knowledge that they have, based on the context that they have. And that's where this heartbeat comes into the play. Fourth is the org knowledge. Based on all of this, extracting the org knowledge in terms of what is the team composition, who owns what within a team, what decisions the team is taking, what challenges the team is solving for. All of this org knowledge is also extracted and maintained by Mithai for the agents to access and use that for future interactions as well. So that's the broad area and the points that we are going to cover today. These are the four loops and the four jobs that we will talk about today. Now, the first is, of course, the reflection. whenever the agent like sort of starts learning, it will remember that after every turn it will do a quick check, quick pulse that, hey, has that something changed, have I learned something from this turn or the conversation. It only does that if there is a tool that is used in that conversation, and of course runs it as a background thread. You can find this in the code as well, in the Mithai code. What it does is it extracts facts, corrections, working procedures, and so on. I'll just show a quick example of how the onboarding of this agent happens. So this is a quick example of one of the SRE ops agent that we built, which is Engineer 9. So when we onboarded that agent onto our channel, what it did was it went through the channel, it went through the some chats that were already on that channel, and then it figured out, okay, this is the channel, these are the people within the channel. There is a cycle 10 that is already going on, which is we use linear, so it figured that out. Then there was some conversation about who owns what, so it automatically generated the roster as well based on the information that it found. What it also does, it stores that roster into the actual memory. So when I look at the agent's memory, it has the team based roster maintained here as well, which is auto generated and regularly updated based on the different sources of knowledge that we provide. So who owns what, who is responsible for what are the changes within the team composition, all are tracked automatically by this agent. And this also helps in terms of making sure that any updates and any changes that are happening are automatically handled within the organization's context. So reflection is something that is automatically tracked by the agent, remembers if after every turn, and does this automatically so that nobody has to sort of ask it to do it. The second and most important part is about the trust in terms of approving the requests, right? So you don't want agents to sort of do all of those things on their own. So there is a framework that we have in Mithai where you can auto approve certain commands, certain playbooks, but it also has the ability to automatically make something as auto approve depending on the workflow that people have. So we have, like, as an example, let's look at a workflow where we were asking it about, hey, there is a attribute called type, and then somebody needs to debug it, right? So it debugged it, but it also asked questions, and then it remembered that this is a playbook. It remembered that, and then afterwards it added that to the approval file that it maintains, so that next time if somebody asks the same question, it is automatically answered. And again, this is based on the configuration that you can do in Mithai. So there are certain things that you can automatically configure to be approved. Certain things are always asked, and then you have, like, somebody from your team has to approve it before it runs. But the main idea is that there are different options and guardrails that are available for you to decide whether you want to approve something or not. So that is also something that is available out of the box in the agent framework. The third is the proactive nature of accessing the information. So sometimes you want the agent to do things on their own, not really always when you ask something. In Mithai, we solve it using heartbeat. So you can decide on a heartbeat or on a tick at a particular interval. It can reread a particular file, and then it can learn or have reflections stored again, right? So it gathers in the context of Slack. What it does is basically it gathers every channel's activity and then stores it, right? So it basically maintains a summary of every channel or every interaction that is happening, so that next time when you have to take a decision, you can refer to that as well, or the agent can refer to that as well. So here you can see that every Slack channel, it has maintained a particular history, right? And this can be based on a particular channel or a particular day. So daily summary is also maintained, which can be referred, and it can sort of learn on its own, can refer to past decisions as well, right? And all of this is possible because it runs on a heartbeat, uh, tracks this, and then keeps learning from it, or keeps referring it in the further interactions as well. Heartbeat is also useful for doing periodic tasks. So what we did was we basically asked it to run some FinOps related operations, or we ask it to sort of generate reports automatically using these Heartbeat tool. So how does the infra look like, right? This is a common question you want to ask, like, okay, what is my infra cost? And I want to have a report on it, right, in a certain format. Now, what this Mithai agent can also do is, while it does it one time, it also has the ability to record it as a playbook, so that next time if somebody asks the same question, it can just execute it as it is without you having to sort of repeat the same steps. And the playbook is also available for somebody to look at and take corrective actions. If something is wrong, an admin can come and edit it as well, right? So just to give you context on what kind of playbooks it can generate, this is one where our team wanted a playbook for doing some deployment on one of our lambdas, right? So everybody wants to sort of have the same information. It was discussed in Slack multiple times. Engineer 9, the agent, automatically generated a playbook for it. There are other playbooks as well, right? So there are playbooks for particular failure modes, particular features that are affecting multiple customers, even the cost savings analysis as well, right? So how to generate a particular report. All of these are the informations and playbooks that it generated, so that next time it doesn't have to repeat the same procedural process to land onto that particular result. So this is something that it automatically does, proactively calls out, saves the playbooks, runs them again if you need on demand, and then give you the results based on that. The next part is, of course, the loop that a human can steer. So agents, of course, need some human in the loop. We already saw the approval process where a human in the loop can approve certain commands, but a human can also provide these hints and help in terms of whether a playbook is valid, whether a particular like a run book that it has created is correct or not. It can help in validating the RCAs. It can help in providing enough details about a particular context of a particular issue or a feature within the product, right? So all of that is also possible, where a human can steer the agent and help to get the context as well. So here is one example where I was showing the Lambda playbook that we saw earlier. Here, one of our team member guided the agent to store the playbook correctly, make the corrections as needed, and so that improved the result of the playbook as well. So the humans can help the agent correct its output, edit it, make sure that the right versions are maintained, dependent on the roles and the responsibilities that people play. So overall, what this allows the agent to do is not just rely on the information that it is gathering from all of these channels, but also fact check them with the right owners within the team, so that the context is maintained for the future use of those playbooks and runbooks as well. So these are some of the things that are available out of the box in the Mithai framework for making sure that the agents can learn on different use cases within following these frameworks and within the constraints of these loops, always managed and sort of steered by humans, so that the humans can fact check the output or correct the quality of the agent as well. Now, what we wanted to sort of cover is, this is not just one feature, or learning loop is not just one feature that we have. Essentially, it's an entire framework and basically the entire harness or a workflow that makes it possible. So there is memory, there is approval, there is scheduling, heartbeat, curation, human in the loop, steering the agent correctly, and all of that sort of fills the gap in terms of making sure that the org mode agent actually compounds its knowledge, helping everyone within the team, not just one or two people within the team using the personal mode agents. And the major that it doesn't really remember, like, because remembering is something that is very much possible. The measurement of the success of this agent is in a way with the trust that it compounds, right? What questions people ask. In our customers case, people ask the questions about the system health. People trust engineer 9 to give the right answers, or the other ops 9, SRE 9 agents that we have to give the right answers, so that because it acts as a teammate who sort of understands the entire org knowledge. So the measure of success is how the trust compounds over time, and that's where the focus has been with respect to Mithai. So what next is basically we have this open source repo where you can find all the information about Mithai, how to build these agents, how to deploy these agents in your organization as well, and then make the best use of that. If there are any questions, if there are any comments, feel free to ask those onto the chat, and we'll ensure that those get addressed. If you like the repo, do give it a star as well. Always look forward to good feedback and comments on this project. Thank you.